guys getting hungry and I'm facing a debate? Honestly, I feel like this apartment hasn't been cleaned in a million years. I've been cleaning since like 2 days. 2 days. But we're grateful. The game is going to try and keep both of these in the air. Ready? Any spirits that are here are being ordered to leave now. My intention for living in this space is to restore it to its past glory or make it even better. I know that this new partnership was brought to me by my angels, and I meant to learn so many lessons here, and it's just going to be so good. I'm very, very grateful. House. We have a lot of work before us. It's all fucking falling apart, but we have lovely bones. You are so loved. I love you. You are the new palace. It's very important to introduce yourself to the new house. There's just a lot of work to do.
This episode in the Artist in Paris Diaries is sponsored by me. I recently released the 3rd journal in my Affirmation journal capsule collection series, the I Know Where I Belong journal. Each journal in the collection is completely designed by myself with original paintings on the cover and an affirmation on the top of each page. This one being, I know where I belong, to remind yourself every day that you have a special place in this world and the desires of your heart are there for a reason. The painting on the cover is an original painting I made called Blue Skies Are Overrated, because we're very rebellious around here and we choose whatever color we want for our skies. So if you are interested, the journal is available in both hardcover and paperback and is linked down below. So thank you so much for your support, and let's get into the video.
Ça te plaît? Oui. Et ça? Non.
I feel like this apartment is a human being, and I have to sort of like treat it like, so what do you like? Like, what foods do you like? It's so old and has so much history. So if you guys are watching this video, you must have guessed that I am sitting in my new apartment, my new Parisian apartment, my new old Parisian apartment that I'm going to be working on restoring over the next few months. I feel like I just have so much to tell you guys, and I think it's a bit overwhelming to just know where to start, and I don't want to get ahead of myself. But yeah, I'm living in an old Haussmannian that's dating from the 1800s. If you guys have been following my channel for a while, you've known that over this past year I've been looking for my dream apartment. And this apartment is my dream apartment. The bones of it are my dream apartment. As an artist, I really love the idea of finding a place with history that needs some TLC. In any case, that was what I could find in my budget. There's either sort of 2 options for me. It was either get a place that was like brand new, or I could get a place that was older with a lot of beautiful details, and like this fireplace, for example. But in my budget, all of the places I visited needed restoring. And I think that this is going to be a really amazing challenge for me, because I'm somebody that I have a lot of energy, and I like to, when I start a project, just like fonce and go just until the end of that project really quickly. But with a place like this, like having your own place, like there's no cutting corners. And so I'm gonna really work over the next few months to restoring this place. And the next video, I'll show you guys like everything that needs to be done and just sort of the obstacles I'm facing with that. And I just think that sometimes in life we're faced with different obstacles to help us grow, and I've already learned so much from this experience. So yeah, like I said, I don't want to jump ahead, so I will bring it back to May, when I first found this place. So it was on the heels of me deciding to turn down another place that I had visited and I was like really gonna get. It was newer, but there was issues with like the neighbors being hoarders and stuff, and so I definitely decided against doing that. And that same day I visited this place, and when I walked in, just the energy here, it's exactly what I've been looking for. It's my dream in the sense that like I wanted to live in a place that was quiet on the last floor. So I feel like I'm in the sky, like the view from the window is so beautiful. I also really wanted to live in the 13th arrondissement because I love the Parc Montsouris, and I think the 13th is a good mix of like old Paris but with a little bit of a village vibe. I'm really close to Le Bout-aux-Cailles. But when I saw this place, I really was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get it because it's way over my budget. And people will say that now is not a good time to buy a place in Paris because the interest rates are really high. But having said that, because the interest rates were really high, I was able to talk down the price quite significantly. But like I said, there is a lot of work that needs to be done. For example, what's really cool about this place is the last 3 people that have lived here, or 2 people that have lived here, were artists. So the first guy was a painter, and that's why the floors were actually painted in white, because he was painting in here and he left a bunch of like paint on the floor and stuff. So the guy who moved in after, who was a filmmaker, painted over it. And yeah, like I really want this place to be like mon atelier logement, like half art studio, half living space. And I just want to wake up every day and feel inspired. And a part of that for me is I love open and airy spaces. For example, it has these 2 giant windows, a lot of natural light. You probably can't really tell today because it's raining out, so it's a bit darker. But yeah, it used to be a 2 pièces. It used to be like a 2 room place, and they knocked down the wall. They also knocked down like a little portion of the kitchen, so you can sort of see into the kitchen, which I love. When I grew up, my childhood home had that, and so when my mom was cooking, you could always go up and talk to my mom and stuff. I will also say that these last few weeks have been an emotional fucking roller coaster. I filmed some of it, and like I love a challenge, but there were just days where I was like, oh my god, like I feel so alone in this, especially because, you know, it's always been my dream to own my own apartment in Paris, and I just never thought it was going to be a possibility. I didn't grow up with a lot of money, and so I've been on my own since I'm 18 and just working my ass off to save. And so the idea of putting like all of my savings into a place isn't a small thing for me, you know? And I think it's gonna help me step up just in so many different ways. And yeah, like I think it's actually quite funny because the other day I was talking to somebody and they were like, what do you think it is about you that makes you so like driven? And I think part of it is like in the culture that I grew up in the US, like if you wanna make something of yourself, failure isn't an option. And failure, I don't mean in the sense of like trying something and then it not going your way. I mean like failure to me is not following your dreams. Failure to me is, you know, not doing what you actually want to do and just following into whatever society wants you to do. And so I've always been en bosseuse, and I've always been somebody that's like, when I have a goal, I'm just like, let's fucking go. But whereas with this place, it's very much like I need to take my time and do things correctement. And that's really how I felt around this whole process. It's like, you know, you're dealing with a lot of different people who, you know, their end goal is to make money. And so a lot of times people will cut corners and things like that. And I think the biggest things I've learned from this is patience. So it all started when I found this place back in the end of May. And like I said, I automatically was like, okay, I want to make an offer, but it was like way less than they were actually proposing. But I stuck with that offer because I was like, I really can't go over this certain number because, you know, I just can't go into that much debt. And I also know that the banks won't loan you the money. And also, as a side note, you know, for me as an auto-entrepreneur, c'était beaucoup plus facile pour moi d'acheter un appartement que de trouver un proprio qui voulait me louer leur appart. And that just shows like how fucked up the immobilier is at the moment. So yeah, I proposed this offer and I went back and forth with the guy, and he accepted my offer, and I was so surprised and happy in the end. But that's just like the first thing you have to do. Then you have to actually get the banks to allow you to loan the money to you. And I really wasn't sure that that was gonna happen, because even though I'm really like diligent about saving and I'm very financially responsible, I think because I am like on my own in France, and so I'm like, bitch, you can't fuck up, like, you know? But j'ai trouvé un courtier, and I would really recommend getting a courtier if you want to buy a place.
Okay, hi, I'm sorry, my camera died that day, and I haven't had a chance to finish the story until now, and it's been like a week since I've been in my apartment, so there's a lot of updates coming, a lot of travaux that I'm doing to the apartment, but that'll be in upcoming videos. But I'll just pick up where I left off. So basically, after I found this place, j'ai décidé de prendre un courtier, because un courtier, en gros, il fait le travail pour toi, pour essayer de trouver un prêt. And I could have done that myself, but because I do have like a profile that's a bit atypical, you know, I'm an auto-entrepreneur, a lot of the banks don't want to work with you, and yeah, so I just thought that was the best way to go. And he was really good and got me a loan in like 2 weeks, which was really amazing. So I feel like things just went really quickly after that. For example, I signed the promesse de vente, so that's basically where you go and you sign the papers saying that you intend to buy this place. So basically, after you sign, then you have like 2 months to find a loan, and I found mine within 2 weeks, and I was able to sign with my loan before I went to Thailand, which was really great. So actually the whole process only took like about a month and a half, which is actually very, very quick. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going like so smoothly. Yeah, I went to Thailand, and then when I came back, I had a rendezvous for like the last signing, and that's when things kind of like went downhill a tiny bit, because the day before you sign, you're supposed to go check the apartment and make sure everything was emptied. So I will roll the clip of what happened the day before I'm supposed to sign the final papers.
Bonjour. Alors là, je suis en route pour l'état de lieu de mon nouveau appartement. C'est l'une des dernières étapes avant que je récupère les clés. Donc c'est juste pour confirmer que l'appartement s'est bien vidé, que rien n'était cassé. Et j'ai trop hâte, parce que ça fait vraiment un mois que j'ai pas vu l'appartement. Enfin, j'ai des photos. And I just want to have like this really good energy around it, so I'm excited. It's all just like sort of happening in a really beautiful way. I haven't like encountered many troubles yet with this process. So yeah. Okay, I just left l'état de lieu, and like my mind is fucking blown in a really bad way. So the guy I'm buying the place from, he asked if I wanted to buy 2 or 3 things from him, like some picture frames and the cinema screen. And I said, yeah, sure, I'll buy that. But we go to check the cave, which is like the little garage underneath the apartment, and he has left it so fucking messy. And I'm just like shocked by how he's like the state he's left the apartment in. And I like wrote him and I was like, bro, like, are you serious? Like leaving it like this? We're supposed to sign tomorrow. But the way he's left it, I'm like, oof. Like I don't even fucking know. Like I actually am not gonna sign for this place until it's in the state that it needs to be in. I don't want to cry, but I'm just like, I'm like really, this is like supposed to be a really good experience. Sorry, I'm okay. It's supposed to be a really good experience, and I mean, I'm imagining if I'm selling an apartment, I would never leave it in a state like that. I need to write them and be like, look, because they're like, oh yeah, like, well, like I visited with the agent. He's like, oh yeah, like I'll contact him and if it's not done by tomorrow, I'll be done. I'm like, no, it needs to be done before we sign. I'm always talking about how we need to have faith and trust, but it's like, come on, bro.
So yeah, I was extremely stressed because, you know, I was supposed to sign the papers the next day, but the place had not been emptied, and the guy, when I contacted him, apparently, yeah, he was like on vacation, and he said like, oh, I didn't have time to empty it all the way, but we had this new date of signing for at least a week, so my thing was like, if you didn't have time, why didn't you just contact me? So yeah, I had to do a second rendezvous the next day to make sure he came and emptied out the cave. So that's what happened this day.
Good morning. So I'm going to do a deuxième état de lieu because yesterday when I went, everything was still in the cave. So I'm gonna go and make sure that it was bien vidé. And then after that, if everything is fine, I'm gonna go sign and get my apartment. And I also brought in my bag some sage, and I'm gonna have a little ceremony for the apartment because I feel like we might have gotten off on a wrong foot. And yeah, I'm not nervous, but it's just like a lot of jitters, you know, because this is probably the craziest thing I've ever done in my life, but buying this apartment, like this big project. So I'll let you guys know how it goes. I cried a lot yesterday, so I don't want to cry today. Today is gonna go really well. I meditated this morning, did my affirmations, and yesterday I was thinking just about everything that I always talk about in my videos about not letting outside things affect my aura. So that's something I'm really gonna try and practice today. Try to practice patience, compassion, and I think the thing that I was thinking about in all of this is like, I'm doing all this alone. Like I'm buying my apartment alone. I don't have my family around to like go with me to these things, you know. And so I think in a sense, it feels like a bit lonely, like the process when problems do arise. And so I think it's good that I'm vlogging this because it feels like I am less alone. And yeah, I got dressed up because when I meet my apartment and it's mine and I have the keys, I want it to just be like a good little ceremony experience. So yeah, I'll let you guys know how it goes. No crying today, only happy tears. All right, I got here early. I'm not gonna lie, I'm having a little bit of a meltdown, and it's just, you know, all your hard work for 4 or 5 years, and it's just like a big thing. I'm probably not gonna use any of this because it's like, I feel like I'm dissociating kind of. But you know what I was thinking about? Like this experience is gonna challenge me in so many ways. The apartment needs a lot of work, so just doing that, it's gonna, you know, figuring out how to do all of the work on it, it's gonna give me a lot of confidence. And yeah, I just know that this next chapter is gonna be even better than the last. That went so well. He emptied everything out, everything. Oh my gosh, like such a nice feeling. I walked in there and I was like happy again that it was my apartment and not stressed. Thank you, angels.
So yeah, I went and visited the apartment. Everything had been emptied, but I sort of had this weird feeling because I was gonna go sign this paper, but I felt like we had kind of gotten off on a wrong foot. I also hadn't met the guy in person yet who I'm buying from, and I know he'd lived in this place for like 20 years, and I honestly felt like, you know, I don't want like the exchange of energies to be bad. So the morning of signing the papers, I went and I bought like everyone who was involved in the process like a box of macaroons. And I decided that I would create myself the sort of energy that I wanted to have when meeting this person and getting the keys, somebody who's lived in here for a really long time, and just make it a beautiful experience and not have this bad energy of like being annoyed about the day before. So the day of the rendezvous for the signing, I arrived with all my gifts, and I actually got to meet the guy who I'm buying the place from. I think that he was actually really touched that I like got him this gift, and he invited me out after we did the signing to have coffee. And he's an artist as well, and he makes film, and I have been wanting to start a podcast where I interview other artists, and I might have him on my podcast. So all that to say that in the end, a big lesson that I learned is don't just go off of the energy that is presented to you. Like, you can cultivate the experience that you want to have. And by me deciding the day of my rendezvous for the signing that I was going to make this a really celebratory experience, it actually made it really nice for everybody, and we were able to sort of put that wrong footing behind us. And yeah, so I'm really grateful for that lesson that, you know, even when things look not how you want them to be, you can take control of the energy and the power in that dynamic, and people reflect the energy that you send to them. Like, if I had arrived all pissed because he hadn't, you know, emptied the caf like he was supposed to the day of, it would have just made it like a shitty exchange. But I really want this apartment to be a beautiful place and to honor the person that lived here before. So in the end, I was really proud of myself for doing that. And since I have been in this apartment, I have been doing a lot of travaux. I have made custom bookshelves, and I've just been really getting into the renovation process and being inspired. This is a place that has so much history. Even like redoing the electricity, we're looking at the wires and they're covered in like fabric. Like, that's how old everything is here. And so I want to honor the past while all the while bringing my energy into this place. And that's something I really want to share with you guys as well along this journey, is how I'm doing that and the obstacles I'm facing and all the lessons I'm learning through this experience. So I'm getting the electricity in tomorrow. I'm doing the electricité in the walls, so they're actually, because I didn't want to fuck up the crown molding, so doing the electricity in the walls, so hopefully that goes well, because that is a really big thing. And then after that, I'm going to be able to start painting and actually buying like les meubles. But I'm learning a lot in this process and going with the flow, and I'm very, very excited to take you guys along the ride. So thank you for watching. Welcome to the new palace. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know if you want to see some of the renovation process. That's going to be my life over the next few months. As well as I have a Patreon where you guys can subscribe to come to Paris meetups. I have a podcast on there. If you want, you can purchase my I Know Where I Belong book, which just came out last week. I'm calling it a book, but it's a journal. And yeah, follow me on Instagram, on TikTok. I also do music. You can check out my music. And I will see you guys in the next video. I love you. Bye.